Enjoy this sequence today using the foam roller and a chair. It's quite a challenging sequence, so listen to your body, make sure you feel safe. If you've got a heavier chair, it's going to be more optimal than a light one that could tip. And also just be aware that that roller can be a very unstable surface also. But have fun. We're going to start today with the roller into the middle of the chair, so not at the back, not at the front, but just in the middle there. We're going to start standing into a standing cat. So I've got my hands just about shoulder width, and we might start with a bent leg position here, and we're just going to explore a little bit of drop down with the body through the arms and then curling up. So I've got my feet just under my sitting bones, inhaling for lengthening through the spine, and then exhaling to curl and round back. Sit bones down to the heels, and as you lengthen, the sit bones will reach up to the wall behind you, towards the ceiling. Breathing out for the round shape, and breathing in for the long shape. I'm just going to take one more. So today there will be a little bit of pace and flow, so just do what you can. Stop if it doesn't feel good, slow down if you need, pause. Good, I'm going to stretch those legs if it feels appropriate. There's nothing wrong with doing this with the bent legs. So obviously we're adding in a little bit of hamstring stretch here. Just seeing how those hamstrings feel today. There's nothing wrong with doing this sequence with a very lifted chest and making your, maybe even coming a little closer to your chair so that you're still getting that spinal movement and release in your range of flexibility. I'm just going to add something here. So now you're going to lift your chest up. You might need to move the roller a little closer to you. Come up with the chest into extension and then dive down. And again, lifting up into extension and diving back down. As you come up, you might want to think of lifting the belly and then diving down, and then a little combo. So this is okay. I might do a couple with bent legs. It's okay to be straight or bent in these legs, and we go to the extension here too. So just moving in a little flow, round spine, sit bones to heels, neutral spine, and lifting your chest up and down. And we'll do that one more time. And enjoying that movement into the spine. And then if you like to straighten the legs or continue bent, sometimes we get a lot of benefit out of the bent leg. It'll actually release your back a lot more. So maybe even just feeling where in your body needs the attention today. And release. So we're going to go into an oblique version. You're just going to take your hands, careful in this one that we have the hands to the edge of the chair, not to the outside. If I'm outside, I might get this tipping in the roller. So when we take one hand off, you should still have a nice firm roller. Taking my hands over to the left, right hand on top of the left hand. This time I'm looking down under my arm, so if you need to bend the legs to let that happen, I would recommend it. And round to come back up. Again, I'm going to do a couple with bent legs. I suggest you follow with that, and then if it feels appropriate, you could add the invitation to add the straight legs. And then to come out of it, we come back with the hands to center. Take the left hand on top of the right. And again, let's go bent knees for a couple. Inhale long, exhale round. Looking under the arm and out to that side wall. Straightening the legs if you enjoy that. back to center, and this time we go back again and we're going to add the lift to extension and down to twist. Look up and over your shoulder and then down under your armpit. One more. And down, we come back to center. Swap those hands and extending up and over, looking down and under, up and over, and down and under. One more time. Coming back through center. And bend those knees, and you can either roll up, hip flexor, hamstring stretch. I'm going to take one foot up onto my roller. Just be very careful here that you feel safe, and you could hop your other leg back. So you've got the option to hold on to the top of the chair or either side of the foot on the roller there, and just find a nice big lunge. Sinking those hips down for a good hip stretch. Taking a few breaths and then coming back for a straight leg hamstring stretch. And going again. If this isn't available to you, you could just do a normal kneeling lunge on the floor and just have a little bit of a stretch, but there's nothing wrong with just going to where your body can go to in this. Just going to do that one more time. Looking up this time. And then coming back. To come out of it, I'm going to bend and just step that foot off. And wiggle through the hips to come to the second side. So find your firm placement of that foot into the roller. Hop back with the other leg. You might not need to go too far back there, and just sending the pelvis through in for a little hip stretch. Reaching out with that back leg and coming into a nice stretch. Make sure you do stay safe. Keep that feeling of really connecting the foot with the roller and the roller to the chair. Keep breathing. Opening the front of the hip and then opening the back of the leg. We're also getting some nice compression through those visceral organs in the front of the body. Looking up on this last one and pressing back. So to come out, you might like to bring the foot to the chair and the hands to the chair to come out, and ready to go on to the next one. I'm going to take a cat stretch and into a little bit of knee stretch on the roller. So we're just going to start with the ankles or the shins up on the roller. Tip yourself forward and hands are underneath the shoulders, and then we're just going to hover the knees. So I'm just going to bring my hands forward a little here. Hover those knees and find a nice round spine. And then we're going to come forward into a neutral spine. So we're just going to explore. As I go round, I press back with the hands, sitting my bottom towards the feet. You could even land your feet on the floor there. And then coming forward into a nice neutral position. So we're just exploring how it feels to bring that weight into the arms. Getting a little bit of a cat stretch. A little bit of compression through the front body. And then coming back to center. I'm just going to scoot that roller forward a little under my, just a little bit lower than my knees. Find a nice neutral position, and we're just going to start moving into a little bit of hinge now. So I'm stabilizing my spine. Exhale to pull the knees in and back and back. Working those abdominals. One more, and then coming back out. Tipping yourself back, bringing the roller forward again just below the kneecaps, and this time we repeat in the round shape. Find a nice cat, and then just using your tummy to pull the legs forward and back. And coming up and coming into a delicious hip stretch to set up. Make sure that you're far enough back that you can really drop down through those arms. And then we'll just bring the hands to the floor, one foot onto the roller and the other one knee to the outer hip, in line with that outer hip, and the foot comes forward so that my heel is under my ASIS bone there. So it's a pigeon. So you might like to take your pigeon this way. Just listen to knees. This is never one to do if the knees feel unhappy. And just take a break. Otherwise, if we're all good, you bring your hands up and I'm going to have to wiggle forward a little bit. Hands up and just find your long reach and then zip the tummy and lift the chest up. So we're just coming forward and back. Just going to do 3 more. The range is dependent on the feelings in your body. Being okay with a little, being okay with the hands on the floor, adjusting for your experience. To come out of it, stay up, bring one knee off that roller to the floor and the other leg comes back up. You're going to slide it out, turn the floor, the front floor leg, so that that heel reaches forward. Come down and find your long reach. And then we're coming up, lifting and down and reaching. And just take a few more of these. I'm just going to take my roller back a little further to give me a little more stretch in that hip. And 2 more, up and back. A really nice hip stretch, opening the hip flexors, the quads, the glutes, and giving you a little bit of extension and a little bit of work through the glutes to sit up and down, almost like a little squat there. Coming down with both feet and hands coming off the chair. Exploring a little bit of a kneeling cat here. So you want to come into a position, I'm holding the sides of the chair, and you want to be reasonably close. I'm just going to bring that roller forward a little bit and just resting just on my shins, just below the knees. Press down with the hands and send those hips forward. So we're in a plank here. You might feel your abdominals working or shaking, drawing the hips and the tummy up and pressing the pelvis forward. So in this shape, I'm going to let my toes come to the floor, draw the belly back and come into a round shape. Press forward and find my little half plank. Exhale back, inhale forward, exhale back and inhale forward. So my roller's not really moving here, it's more me moving forward and back. And rest. I'm just going to take that roller back a little, not too far, but it'll make it a little more challenging. And coming back and forward. Toes float, toes press. Try and keep those toes down to add a little more work through the back of the leg. And we'll do 3 more like that, trying to maintain those feet on the floor. Push through the feet and you might feel your booty connect a little. And last one. And back. I'm going to try that in a flat back now. So keeping my flat back shape, coming forward. As I sit back, I reach back with the tail, the sit bones spread. Coming forward and pressing back. Forward and sit back. Last 2. And back. You might like to add a lift of the chest and sit back. Last one, up and back. Really challenging but quite fun. If you'd like to try a Pilates elephant here, we're going to come up to stand. This is a really lovely exercise, but just be very careful that you feel safe with your roller. So we're going to start nice and close today, and then you can just take small walks back and to bring that roller underneath your hips. So this is a nice place to begin your elephant. I'm in a fairly long spine. I'm not dropped down in my elephant here. It's fairly parallel to the floor. And just to get used to the movement of the feet. So my toes reach to the floor, and then the heels, toes, heels, toes, heels, toes, heels, toes, heels. We could take that into your round back elephant. So lift the front of the tummy, the ribs, the front of the hips, and repeat with the feet for 6, 5, 4, 3, letting those sit bones drop down towards the heels, and 1. That might be fine for you to repeat there. If you feel like you're quite flexible, you'd like a little more challenge, start to drop the chest as you walk the feet back very slowly and carefully until you find the right position for you. Thinking of bringing your ears down in line with those arms and then setting up that rock in the feet. Forward and back. 3 more. And rest. So we're going to come in a little more. So just walk that roller back in. And we're going to try and add a little bit of arabesque and a little side leg. So we're just going to take one leg up behind you, keeping tummy in, taking that leg or that foot back and forward. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bringing that leg back down, swing the other leg up, keeping those hips fairly parallel to the floor. Reach through that back leg and take a little rock. I have to keep both hands pressing evenly down into the chair here to avoid it tipping. So make sure you keep that work. And returning that leg. So to go to the side, we're going to work the glute, the abductors quite a lot here. So we lift one leg up high and go for that little leg press with the bottom rock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And the second side. Take it up. Rock. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And bring that leg down. Step yourself forward. And give those wrists a nice roll out. You might like some little octopusy fingers. Maybe a little shake. Finishing with a couple of side bends. I'm just going to start with a seated side bend. So I've got my chair leg in front and the outer leg stretching back. Make sure you've got enough room here to really reach without crashing into your chair. And that'll be a good setup. So just mindful that you don't roll off the front here. I'm quite far to the front of my chair with my roller, but I shouldn't have to go any further that way. So we're just taking the arm over for a stretch and coming back up. If I can leave this hip down, I'll get even more stretch as I go over and up. And up. This time we're going to add a twist. So we're going to come all the way over. 2 hands to that roller. Make sure your hands are hovering over the top of the chair rather than out wide. And reaching forward, coming up, lifting that chest. And again, reaching forward and lifting the chest. 1 more. And lift. The backhand has to come to the middle so that I don't tip my roller. Come through your side stretch and all the way up. Let go of that roller, and one of my favourite stretches is just to tip the other way toward the back leg. Take a few big breaths there. And if you're really flexible, you might need to hold on to your front knee or shin to stop from tipping. And then just a little turn towards that shin there at the front. Looking down, rolling down. I don't have a lot of movement here. You may find you can go further. Promise I'm feeling it, and it feels good. So I'm going to turn my back to you for the second side. So my chair leg is the front one, the outer leg behind me. Checking I've got enough room to do a nice big dive without headbutting the chair. Come out a little there. And then we should be ready to go. This is a little bit harder on this side for me to keep my hip down, but I'll do my best. So we're going over and coming up and again. And coming up. One more time. Bring yourself around to face the roller, hands hot just over the top of the chair there at the edges, reaching forward and lifting your chest up. Reaching forward and lifting your chest up. One more here. And lifting up, come to the middle with that back hand, through your side bend and all the way up. You can let go of that roller to come towards the outer leg. Turn to face that shin and just a little twist. And then bring yourself back to the first side, and you might like to just try that kneeling. I'm going to take the hand behind the head for this. We're just coming over and up. So careful as you go over that you leave your outer knee grounded. Weight on that outer knee. And up. We'll just do one more. Hold out there, just bend and reach that arm. Bend and reach away. Bend and reach. And all the way up. Walk yourself around to the second side. Outer hand behind the hip. Make sure your hand's on the chair. Lifting up through the front body. So really open in the front hips as you go sideways. And lift, keeping weight on that outer knee. And lift one more time. Over. And stay out there. And this time you bend and reach. Bend and reach. Going a little further each time. And coming all the way back up. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed that quick, fun and challenging roller chair sequence.